deep within, I get lost in the feeling, I just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change, and I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim, I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within, I get lost in the feeling, I just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game. You wanna sink or swim, I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within, I get lost in the feeling, just need a win. I'm going off, I know it's time to make a change, and I can take the pain. You wanna sink or swim, I'm gonna go down swinging. Look deep within, I get lost in the feeling, just need a win. I'm gonna find my meaning, I can make a change. I wanna play the game, yeah. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss. See, I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and trying to get myself situated here. Running a little off today. Trying to get everything set up, but don't have enough time. That's all good. How are you guys doing? It's the last day of June, last day of Pride, last day of whatever you want to call it. I don't care. I'm looking forward to July. Should be interesting for sure. But that's why we're alive, to be entertained by the world. I got some stuff that I want to see here. Let me close out some windows here. I got a couple of stories that I want to check out. As you may know by now, President Trump will be visiting Alligator Alcatraz tomorrow. He's going to be opening the facility tomorrow. So I will be broadcasting that live. I don't know what time exactly when that's going to happen, but I will try to get it live. I'll try to figure out when and what time that's going to happen. And this set this up. I didn't get enough time to set up the way I want to, but hey, it's all good. It's part of the show.
Tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida to attend the opening of a new illegal alien detention center.
President Trump set to tour Alligator Alcatraz. Tonight, Governor Ron DeSantis is defending the controversial detention center deep in the Everglades, even as a lawsuit aims to shut it down.
It's not going to shut down.
Glenna Milberg is live
It's
Collier
federally run.
to break down the backlash and what comes
It's
next.
like they open up a prison and you tell them, no, don't open up the prison.
Nicole, that lawsuit alleges that this project has not gone through what is legally necessary environmental reviews. The governor says it does not have to. It's been 1 week. This going on all
Yeah, it
day
doesn't
long,
have to go through reviews. It's
in
already
and out,
airport.
and
Hello.
this migrant detention
They already went
facility
through
gets
reviews.
its first
They
deportable
don't need to.
migrants
It's already
tomorrow.
established. It's owned and established.
So many, so much, so big. They backed up traffic on this remote part of Alligator Alley.
Good luck getting the civilization.
The governor previewed what sounds like a made-for-national TV opening tomorrow, hosting President Trump and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, for whom, the governor says, Florida is adding to the national stock of migrant detention facilities. This one with a 10,000-plus foot runway for deportation flights.
Yeah,
Today's aerial view seems to confirm the mass makeshift housing for thousands of deportable migrants is ready to open Tuesday at the Miami-Dade County Training Airport in the middle of the Everglades that the state took over under emergency order 1 week ago.
People parking on the grass.
It's been the focus
They're
of
stepping on the grass. They're
Everglades
hurting the
protests ever
environment.
since.
The cars
There's going to
parked
be
on the
zero
grass.
impact on the surrounding area. They're
bullshit.
utilizing the existing concrete
They're talking
footprint,
all that
even
shit,
on the
and they're the
interior of
ones
the
that are,
airport
like,
where there's
parking on the
grass.
grass
They're staying
and-
off that grass.
A project now facing this federal lawsuit filed Friday.
You need to go through environmental review.
Friends of the Everglades argues the project inside the Big Cypress National Preserve is being made without conducting any environmental reviews
They
as
don't need to.
required under the National Environmental
They
Policy
don't need
Act.
to.
No public notice or comment or
They don't need to.
compliance with other statutes.
We would not have agreed to do it at that site if I thought that somehow it was going to negatively impact all the great work we've done
Exactly.
on improving and restoring the Everglades.
And it's already established.
Friends of the Everglades has asked the Miami federal judge to stop this project before the first detainee arrives tomorrow. So far, that has not happened. There hasn't been
It's
any
not gonna
movement
happen.
at all at last check. And so it appears this nationally watched mass migrant temporary detention center right here in the Everglades is
But what they're
a
going to
go
have
for
to
tomorrow.
do,
I'm Glenna Milberg, live in Collier County.
I believe what they're going to have to do, there's a few things that it draws to my concern. And one is the security of the facility. We know it's alligators and so forth, but they're going to need to reinforce the entrance of the facility, just because these protesters are a little wild and crazy, and they're going to be like this tomorrow while President Trump's going to be arriving. And you don't want an open gate situation where people just come in and come out as freely as they want. They're going to have to do a setup where you're going to have to be checked in to come in. And if you're part of the crew, then they'll bypass you through. My other concern is nothing with the environment, because it has nothing to do with the environment. Those people that are protesting and acting a ruckus and parking their cars on the grass is doing more harm to the environment than what they're doing at that facility. Second of all, what my concern is hurricane season. I would have done I would have gone to a different approach on this Alcatraz, alligator Alcatraz. I would have built a more sturdier facility, one that could possibly withstand a Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. They could have done a solid foundation and a solid facility, built properly with concrete and make it strong enough that could withhold at least a Category 3 hurricane. That's my only issue, because if a Category 1 hurricane was to go through there and through that area, it will destroy everything that's there. Those individuals that are going to be housed there will have a problem. And I don't know how fast they will be able to move these individuals out from that facility if there's a hurricane coming. Where are they going to place those individuals? Because they're talking about housing about 1,000 individuals at a time. That's a lot of people. 1,000 is a lot of people. And how are you going to move them out so quickly? And if there is a threatening hurricane, what is the procedure? Nobody's asking that question, and nobody's getting any answers because the question's not being answered. Like they're not asking the question. So like these reporters fail at their job. They constantly do. It's just they ask the most ridiculous questions and they go straight to the environment. I would have, if you want to be worried about the environment, be worried about the fucking hurricanes. How about that? You know, Florida is very prone with hurricane landfall, and this year is a very erratic year. We don't know what could come up. Florida is a bullseye for hurricanes. Let's see. I hope it's not a waste of money, but I have a bad feeling about it because all it takes is one. All it takes is one hurricane, and one hurricane can wipe all that away. So that's very risky. For me, that's just risky. But let's check out Benny Johnson's show, because I wanted to see. I didn't get to watch it, but let's tap into the Benny Johnson show and let's watch a little bit of it. Let me set myself up here. Setting up. Okay, here we go. So a lot of movements here with my hand. I'm trying to work overtime here.
Gets asked about this. President Trump will be attending the opening of Alligator Alcatraz.
So he is going to be there for sure.
Florida tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, Trump is going to be over there at the Alligator Alcatraz to open it up.
Plan to be there. We'll see. More on that in a moment.
Benny Johnson should be there.
The news
he lives in Florida,
President Trump.
It is about
will visit
where he's at, about 4.5 hour drive.
Detention center in South Florida.
Probably 4 hour drive.
West of Miami.
Because he's in Tampa.
Are calling Alligator Alcatraz. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just officially announced. There were whispers about this yesterday, but it was an unofficial announcement. The controversial detention facility is at the Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport, Florida Everglades. Florida Everglades is not a fun place to get lost. I've been there before. It is a nasty, mosquito-infested and python-infested hellscape that would be no fun to go tromping through. There's a lot of things that can kill you out there. It's truly no man's land. This prison will have its own runway, detention facility, whatever you want to call it. DeSantis said that the site has been modified within a matter of days to function as a detention center, and he expects the site to be operational on Tuesday. When the president comes tomorrow, he's going to be able to see it, DeSantis told reporters at a press conference in Florida on Monday. The Florida governor said he spoke with the president this weekend, and he's very excited to visit. The White House did not immediately respond for comment. DeSantis called this is an effective way to increase the number of removals and deportations, unauthorized criminal aliens. Yeah. 5,000 detainees. Okay. Yeah. All right. I love this. This is what you would call deterrence. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump set to attend the opening of Alligator Alcatraz. Here we go. Now officially confirmed by Ron DeSantis. This is the rumor that was posted 24 hours ago, officially confirmed right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice. It's confirmed
with Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis is going to be
in the
there.
middle of the Everglade area, and it's not defunct. People say there are training flights that go in there, but it's a massive runway. And there's not a lot of buildings out there, but there's a lot of concrete. And so these guys set up this whole thing within a matter of days. And so when the president comes tomorrow, he's going to be able to see. You're going to be able to do. What'll happen is you bring people in there. They ain't going anywhere once they're there, unless you want them to go somewhere. Because good luck getting the civilization. So the security is amazing, but what
the security is
natural
amazing.
And otherwise. But what it can be, I think, is an effective way to increase the number of removals and deportations, which ultimately, if you don't do that, you're going to continue to have this problem of illegal immigration. So you'll be able to bring people in, they'll get processed, they have an order of removal, then they can be queued, and the federal government can fly right on the runway right there. You literally drive them 2,000 feet, put them on a plane, and then they're gone. It's very logistically simple. But what we're also going to do is, this idea of immigration judge, these are not Article 3 judges. They're not federal judges like we think of. These are executive branch employees who are called immigration judges. So you can have you can deputize different employees to do that. So we've offered some of our National Guardsmen to be able to serve as immigration judges. So what you could have is, okay, someone's a criminal alien, they obviously fast track. Someone has an order of deportation, okay, fast track. Someone may have just gotten picked up. They come, they can get like a notice to appear. Biden would tell you to come in 2 years. I mean, under the Trump administration, it's usually within, 14 to 30 days. But we can have our National Guard acting as immigration judges right on site.
I love
so you go,
Florida.
maybe you have a day or two, whatever, and then a decision's made. And then that's it. So this is potentially be a force multiplier as this goes. And so, I did speak with the president this weekend. He's very excited about doing it. But I think what he wants to see is, Florida should not be the only one in this fight, right? I mean, like we literally
should be a lot more.
What the voters who elected all of us have been demanding for many, many years. And immigration.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now officially confirmed from Ron DeSantis that Donald Trump, the rumors were out there, but they were just rumors. Officially confirmed that Donald Trump and DeSantis will be together inside of Alligator Alcatraz tomorrow. Will we be there with them?
Yes.
We're working on it. We're working on it.
You'll be there.
Would it be, ladies and gentlemen, the Benny Show, if we weren't there with you, locked in on the location?
They could drive
bring
to
you the
it,
sights
but
and
it
sounds
is
of
a
Donald Trump touring the alligator
3.5, 4, I think it's a 4-hour
waters
drive
of his brand new Alcatraz detention facility. Okay. This, of course, has been Donald Trump's dream. If you know, you know. Shoot migrants in the legs, build alligator moat behind Trump's ideas for the border. This published in 2019, October 2 of 2019 from the New York Times. Donald Trump has been begging for an alligator moat for the better part of the last 7 years. This has been on Donald Trump's mind, and now he is executing, and it is completely
it's not a bad drive. It's
glorious.
3.5 hours.
Here's what it looks like from the air.
So 3.5 hours. He could do that drive in the morning and be on site.
There you go.
You have to leave like that. Like 6 in the morning, awesome. Like 5:30 in the morning.
Here is what the facility looks
like. To be
like.
on site by like 8:30.
Donald Trump's going to be
9 in the morning,
cruising through there. United with Ron DeSantis.
He wakes up at 5.
See it, whether it's Elon Musk or Tucker
He'll get
Carlson,
there by
8:30. Or Ron DeSantis. We want to see our movement united and strong. This is the announcement of Alligator Alcatraz from the Attorney General of Florida,
which is a lot faster. They could take a plane ride.
Ron DeSantis is doing a walkthrough here,
or they could take a helicopter ride.
Pure gold. The alligator memes, ladies and gentlemen, aside,
the plane ride, they could fly to Fort Myers.
Our morning show about this. What is he
Look at the alligator and Trump.
Alligator Alcatraz and Tom Homan couldn't hide his delight.
I love that.
News broke
that needs to be a
last
shirt right there.
Yesterday evening, late in the evening.
Oh, look, Tom
Mr. Borders are that President Trump will be personally visiting what is named Alligator Alcatraz. Not too far from where we broadcast here in the state of Florida. Can you preview that for us? It's quite a deterrence. You talk about deterrence in your opening answer. Being surrounded by a bunch of alligators in a swamp, in a mosquito-infested Florida swamp, that's a hell of a deterrence right there.
Yeah, not only that, I think the cost of the facility is really reasonable, because even though we're asking for more money in the big beautiful bill, we're trying to spread that money as far and wide as we can to get in a decent bed rate, because we pay a lot for beds. And Governor DeSantis, let me give Governor a shout out for Governor DeSantis. From day one, he's been lockstep with us. I mean, he has required through legislation, state law, that every sheriff and chief of police work with us. They're not allowed, to walk away from us. I've said many times, well, we can send more resources to sanctuary cities like New York and less resources in Florida when we get every sheriff working with us in Florida. We don't have public safety threats being released from county jails every day in Florida. So where do we got to send more resources to New York City, where they're knowingly releasing public safety threats back in the community? So Governor DeSantis has been up front. He's the tip of the spear on all the governors helping. I mean, Governor, the Texas Governor Abbott's doing a great job. Governor DeSantis has been amazing, and they're building this with their funds. Of course, there'll be reimbursement. The money that we used to give to NGOs and hotels, how these aliens at $500 a night, being spent on Alligator Alcatraz is the right thing to do. And you're right, the near knowledge of these people being detained, that you can escape, try to escape, but it's not a real good idea. I mean, that just adds a stronger message to the whole world that you can't enter this country legally. It's a crime. If we catch you, you're going to be detained, you're going to be deported, and detention is going to be in places like Alligator Alcatraz and El Salvador and other countries that aren't so friendly. So we're going to do everything we can to send a strong message. It's not okay to break the laws of this country. We're going to hold you accountable.
What will we expect to see tomorrow?
I will be covering this tomorrow. Look at Trump and the alligator. That needs to be on a shirt too.
I'm so thrilled about that.
Trump and the alligator
flying, and now that this is confirmed,
shoot. AI is funny, man.
Rocking a good day. What a wonderful deterrence, right?
AI is a trip.
I mean, listen, whatever third world hellscape that you decided to leave to come into our nation, is it really worth being detained inside of an Alligator Alcatraz? President Trump will be attending the grand opening of Alligator Alcatraz on Tuesday in Florida, according to the Palm Beach Post. Approximately 5,000 illegal criminals will be housed and surrounded by gators and pythons right next to the airport, where they can be flown right back home. The official breaking news, less than an hour old, ladies and gentlemen. Ron DeSantis saying Florida is stepping up to help increase deportations and fulfill President Trump's mandate to enforce immigration law. Alligator Alcatraz is a secure facility in Florida that will stage criminal aliens efficient for mass deportation. Again, please tell me it's true that Trump is going to be at Alligator Alcatraz. Oh, yes, it is freaking true. Here again, the AIs just nail it here. Just nail it. This is just the greatest timeline. Trisha McLaughlin.
Yeah, but that gator looks fake.
Department of Homeland Security
That
commenting
gator
on
look that
this.
real.
She's the chief spokeswoman for DHS. Of course, she's going to be there tomorrow. Let's hear the preview of what's about to happen.
Ask you about this. Alligator Alcatraz, we learned about that last week. This is where some illegal migrants could be sent, and it's in Florida. There's a new lawsuit. Let me read this to you here. The defendants, in their rush to build the center, have unlawfully bypassed the required environmental reviews. The direct and indirect harm by nearby wetlands, wildlife, and air and water quality must be considered before acting. So is this idea on hold for now?
No, it's absolutely not on hold. We will keep moving forward. This is a lazy lawsuit. This land has been developed for over a decade now. So these environmental concerns have been fully handled by the state of Florida for over a decade, and we will continue to move forward. This facility will add an additional 5,000 detention beds. Those detention beds are crucial operationally so that we can really turbocharge our arrests, detain these individuals, and get them out of our country, Dana.
Trisha McLaughlin, I got to tell you, so I was a spokesperson a long time ago. You can answer all the questions and so fast, and I love it. And thanks for coming on. We have plenty to talk to you about in the future. Love to have you back.
It's great to see Trisha out there. We worked pretty closely with her on the campaign trail, and she's just a straight up winner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Carolyn Levitt is live.
On a scheduling note, tomorrow, President Trump will travel to the great state of Florida
we saw this
to
earlier
attend the
today.
opening
I
of a new
broadcast this
illegal
this
alien
morning.
detention center located at Dade Collier Training and Transition Airport, alongside Secretary Kristi Noem, Governor Ron DeSantis, Congressman Byron Donalds, and other state and local leaders. We hope to see many of you there. The facility is in the heart of the Everglades and will be informally known as Alligator Alcatraz. There is only one road leading in, and the only way out is a one-way flight. It is isolated and surrounded by dangerous wildlife and unforgiving terrain. The facility will have up to 5,000 beds to house, process, and deport criminal illegal aliens.
Yeah, I covered this earlier today. It's a big time problem, and I'm glad that they're going to be working on it because it needs to be addressed. And Trump is opening it tomorrow, and let's see how they process, because that's going to be a 24 hour a day, 7 days a week operation for like the next, like I said, man, hurricane season. It's just not only that hurricane season, but also when it comes to wintertime, it does get cold in Florida. It does get cold. So the temperatures could drop into, like, in some places, into 50s, 40s, depending. Sometimes it could even get colder. It could get into the 30s. And with the humidity, with the cold, it actually feels a little colder. Now, are these facilities are going to be ready for that for the wintertime? Do they have heaters? What is the process of, like, who's going to be guarding these individuals? Who's going to be the watch out? How the security? I mean, it's a fast operation. They're doing this really fast. So there's going to be a lot of mistakes along the way, but it is a first step to removing these individuals out of our country. You know, they came in illegally, and now they're going to have to leave. And they're going to be forced to leave. They have no choice but to leave, because it's not fair that other people come into this world, come like other people from this world, they come here, and then, like, they come the right way and they go through all the channels and they're here, right? But you have a lot of people that are illegal that has come into this country illegally, and it's eating up our resources, is harming our individuals. Like, in this country, children are being harmed, like pets are being eaten in some cases. So, you know, watch your dogs, watch your cats, and even your birds, because they will eat them. But yeah, just be careful. Let's go to the next story here, and this is the Iranians that they busted.
And there is a heightened state of alert over concerns of sleeper cells here at home. And this comes as the feds make an arrest at a Los Angeles area house late last week. They say it's an Iranian human smuggling hub that repeatedly harbors illegal migrants linked to terrorism. Here to tell us more about that is Tricia McLaughlin. She is an assistant DHS secretary. It's good to have you here. Can you tell us more about the arrest?
Absolutely, Dana. These are two individuals who not only have terrorist links, but also are involved in a human smuggling, human trafficking operation we likely think surrounding terrorism. But further than this has been a priority since day one of this administration to get these extremists, to get these known and suspected terrorists out of this country. Just in the last 150 days under President Trump and Secretary Noem's leadership, 570 known or suspected terrorists have been picked up, arrested, and deported off the American people's streets. Further, Border Patrol has apprehended almost 1,000 individuals who are on the terror watch list. It's stunning, Dana, the amount of people who are terrorists who are allowed to walk with impunity on America's streets for the last 4 years.
Bill Maloogian, when he was here last week, was showing this call for two. This is Iranian nationals arrested last week. And I'm curious if you can characterize, without giving anything away in terms of I'm not asking for anything classified, but can you characterize the concern level at Department of Homeland Security about these sleeper cells that might be here in America after the bombing in Iran?
Well, this is something we're focused on every single day. Our Homeland Security investigators who fall under ICE, they work on this day in and day out. It wasn't just June 21st when we had that operation on Iranian nuclear sites that we were focused on this. It's been since the very beginning. We know it just takes one of these actors to commit an act of terrorism or an act of violence on American soil, and we're working to thwart that every single day, Dana.
I wanted to also ask you about this because I just learned about this in the last 20 minutes. There's a new app that someone has come up with to spot ICE, basically giving people an alert that ICE is coming. I don't know exactly how the app works, but I know that the Department of Homeland Security and the ICE director, Tim Lyons, is worried about this, concerned. And can you tell us your thoughts about this? Do you think that it is meant to at least give people a heads up so that they can get away from ICE, but also concern for the ICE men and women in uniform in addition to that?
Dana, absolutely. Our ICE enforcement officers are seeing a 500% increase in assaults against them. And a lot of this is because politicians like AOC, like Governor Tim Walz, like Gavin Newsom demonize our ICE enforcement officers and give them free passes. And examples like these apps are absolutely obstructing justice. What our ICE enforcement officers are doing is enforcing the rule of law. If these rioters, these activists, and these politicians don't like the law, they should change it. Don't go after our ICE law enforcement. It's disgusting, it's wrong, and it's un-American.
I also wanted to ask you about this. Alligator Alcatraz, we learned about that last week. This is where some illegal migrants could be sent, and it's in Florida. There's a new lawsuit. Let me read this to you here. The defendants, in their rush to build the center, have unlawfully bypassed the required environmental reviews. The direct and indirect harm by nearby wetlands, wildlife, and air and water quality must be considered before acting.
They don't need to do that.
Is this idea on hold for now?
Facility.
No, it's absolutely not on hold. We will keep moving forward. This is a lazy lawsuit. This land has been developed for over a decade now. So these environmental concerns have been fully handled by the state of Florida for over a decade. And we will continue to move forward. This facility will add an additional 5,000 detention beds. Those detention beds are crucial operationally so that we can really turbocharge our arrests, detain these individuals, and get them out of our country, Dana.
Tricia McLaughlin, I got to tell you, so I was a spokesperson a long time ago. You can answer all the questions and so fast, and I love it. And thanks for coming on. We have plenty to talk to you about in the future. Love to have you back.
And she's very pretty too. Not for nothing, but she is very, very pretty. Let's go. Let's see what we could go to. Man, I got a lot of news to go through. A bunch of news to go through. Before I go to the others, let's jump over to here. Give me 1 sec to set it up. I'm sorry. Everything just takes a moment. But crazy day, man. We what a wild day. every day is gonna be wild this year. It's not, every day's a new day, and every day is unstable. And this heroic rescue earlier today with a man that jumps overboard to save his young daughter on a Disney cruise. Disney, wow. I broke this story earlier on my earlier show. Let me set it up here because that's what I'm doing. I got two stories back to back on this remarkable rescue. Like, wow. I can't wait to hear it from the father, to be honest with you. Like, it's a wild story.
One man is being hailed a hero after jumping off a cruise ship and into the Atlantic Ocean to save a young girl who fell overboard from the fourth deck of Disney's Dream cruise ship yesterday. In video from passengers, you can actually see here the crew members launching a rescue boat. They were unable to pull the two to safety. They were finally, able to pull those two to safety within minutes. NBC News correspondent George Solis is in Port Everglades, Florida, where that ship is docked as we speak. George, this looks pretty miraculous. I mean, the ship supposedly has these safety barriers in place to avoid precisely incidents like this. So how did it happen?
Yeah, Morgan, no question that this is a miraculous rescue. And you're right, the cruise ship here is docked here in Fort Lauderdale right now. This happened somewhere along the fourth floor deck, which is right below, if you can see it behind me, those yellow boats. Now, we're not sure which side of the ship it actually occurred on. And yes, to some degree, you're right. These are railings that are specifically designed so you won't be able to go over. So how this child was able to get over the railing, overboard into the water is still something that is going to have to be investigated and surely being looked at by Disney officials. Now, to that end, we're still also working to learn about the relationship of this individual who jumped into the water to rescue this child. The videos, of course, from the passengers are amazing as you see them watching and seeing this all play out in real time as this small yellow boat is racing out to them to get them from the waters there. Now, passengers that we spoke with say they think this all took place with about maybe 10 to 15 minutes of them being in the water, but those rescue boats, Rescue Boat Pacific was out there within minutes. And that's according to Disney. Again, just a simple, miraculous rescue that this happened as this boat was moving from the Bahamas back here to Fort Lauderdale. After this rescue, that boat obviously continued and is now docked here at the port.
And George, just briefly, did the man know the girl who fell into the water?
We're still working to verify the relationship between this rescuer and this child.
You know what?
Disney did put out a statement.
I can't watch them. They're just full of shit. Let's go to a better news site that actually will tell you what the hell's the truth. NBC's just a piece of shit.
The family's dream vacation taking a terrifying turn on board a Disney cruise ship.
And a father leaping into the ocean after his daughter suddenly.
There we go. Father and daughter.
And tonight we are seeing the remarkable rescue and hearing from a passenger who witnessed it all.
Let's get right to Local 10's Roy Ramos live at Port Everglades, where that ship returned earlier today.
Man,
Roy?
do your fucking work. Homework. Hello.
Yeah, and that ship has just set sail again. But that witness I spoke with said she watched as that little girl fell overboard. Moments later, she watched as that father was searching through the water for her, fearing the worst would happen. But fortunately, rescue crews were able to pull them both out safely. A sigh of relief from a father moments after he and his daughter are rescued after going overboard the Disney Dream cruise ship Sunday.
It seemed like it was going to be something that was just devastating, tragic.
Passenger Monica Shannon told me she and her family were taking pictures when she watched as the little girl fell from the fourth floor.
Wow, that's
wild. We were playing shuffleboard, which is actually right. So it was on the fourth floor, and I think like maybe the parents were playing, and then the little girl was climbing up on the railing and went and flew off.
In this piece of video, you can see the race to rescue as crews rushed to pull the two from the water and into a rescue boat. We learned the cruise was returning to Port Everglades in Fort Lauderdale following a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas when other passengers reported the child was first to fall in. That's when they say the father realized what happened, then jumped in after her.
She didn't know how to swim. And the dad couldn't find her at first.
While that ship is now docked and passengers have disembarked, it's investigators now trying to determine just how that child fell overboard. We reached out to Disney Cruise Lines, who issued this statement that read in part, "The crew aboard the Disney Dream swiftly rescued 2 guests from the water. We commend our crew members for their exceptional skills and prompt actions, which ensured the safe return of both guests to the ship within minutes." Following the frightening incident, it is this message Shannon had for other parents, especially when aboard a Disney cruise ship with their children.
You still are in the middle of the ocean, and there are still dangers, so just be so careful. Keep them close.
That's scary.
Keep them close. That message from a parent right there. Disney still has yet to say exactly how the 2 fell overboard. That now part of their investigation. As we gather more on this, we'll be sure to let you know. For now, in Fort Lauderdale, Roy Ramos, Local 10 News.
Wow, that's so creepy, scary. That's scary. You imagine you're on vacation, you're playing a little shuffleboard, your child wanders away from you for all it takes is a split second for tragedy to occur, and the fact that she fell, you gotta understand, she fell from the 4th floor. That's 4 stories. 4. Okay, into the water. That's just think about diving 4 stories into the ocean. And you know these boats are really big. They're pretty tall. So the fact that she was able to get in and fall in and land in the water, how she landed in the water, was she able to pop back up and like she could have drowned. That's how fast. The father, without hesitation, because he could have hesitated and not jumped, and he could have just stayed on board. He said, "Fuck this shit." And he jumped over. And like he jumped over, and he was searching, panicky, searching for his daughter, and then he found her and swam to her and held her up and kept her afloat for 20 minutes straight until rescue came to help out and to retrieve him. What a story, man. I can't wait to hear from the family that this happened to. I wonder how the girl is doing, the little girl. It takes your like, that's the most scariest thing a parent could possibly go through, is having your child go overboard on a vacation. That's just crazy. That literally is crazy. And going to crazy, let's go to another crazy story. So we're having issues with the Diddy trial. Diddy trial is heading towards, I knew something crazy was going to happen. I mentioned this already a while back, that I have a feeling that Diddy's going to try to get away with this. I'm pretty sure that Diddy had a big influence in the jury, outside maybe interference. I see transactions and I see a lot of chatter, and could be maybe the jury was tainted. The jury could be tainted. And let's check out the story here on My Mind Over Your Matter.
Deliberations in the sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Minutes ago, jurors sent their 3rd note of the day to the judge.
And right now, we're all just waiting and watching to see exactly what that note says. We know, meanwhile, this unfolded in the courtroom today. It's a sketch of Mr. Combs holding up a note to one of his attorneys, but it was a note number 2 from the jury that is causing quite a stir today. Jurors raising questions about one of their own.
Eyewitness News reporter Kimberly Richardson is live in Lower Manhattan now with more on this day of drama. Kimberly.
I don't trust Diddy.
Well, you guys mentioned that third note. It came in roughly hour 5 of deliberations. Everybody's in the courtroom right now, and as soon as we learn more, we will bring it to you. But this morning, after the jury cleared the courtroom, Sean Combs and his family gathered in prayer, holding hands for a few minutes.
They don't need to
At
pray
the
for
end,
that
they
asshole.
applauded and spoke for some time.
Oh,
Now,
man.
it's a waiting game.
Prayer.
Monday
Get out of here.
afternoon,
Look
the
at this
matriarch of the
fake
Combs
looking
family,
Tina
Janice
Turner
Combs,
looking.
left
You
federal
think she's
court
Tina
in Lower
Turner?
Manhattan during
Diddy's
a lunch
mom.
break.
She's a
Her
horrible
son Sean's
person.
fate now in the hands of a
Horrible
jury.
person.
Day one of deliberations began at about 11:30 a.m. The judge reminded jurors they are the, quote, sole and exclusive judges of the facts. Once behind closed doors, the jury of 8 men and 4 women picked a
They
four-person
couldn't have
who
me as a
roughly
juror.
70
Diddy
minutes
would
in sent a note to the
serving
judge
life.
reading, quote, "We are concerned juror 25 cannot follow your honor's instructions,"
How the hell you can't
suggesting
follow
the judge speak
instructions?
with that juror. That person is a 51-year-old man, a scientist who originally
A
said he
scientist who
was
can't
familiar
follow
with
the
the
judge's
allegations.
orders?
In the end, the judge said the issue was not of concern and directed the jury to continue deliberating. Considered one of the most successful producers and entrepreneurs in the hip-hop
He's a
industry,
piece of shit.
prosecutors paint a much different picture of the 55-year-old. They say for 2 decades, Combs headed up a criminal organization prosecutors
You
call,
know
quote,
what?
Combs Enterprise, in which he, quote, abused.
Let me pause this for a second and come over here because this is I'm projecting a lot of stuff coming to me and it's just not good. Why is this trial is only about Diddy? How come the other people that were part of this freak off not getting in trouble also? I'm just saying, for instance, J-Lo. Oh, where she was at, and where is Leonardo DiCaprio? Where is Ashton Kutcher? Where is all these other individuals that are part of the freak off and was doing all this? They were doing a lot of bad things to minors. Okay, minors. And yet they're going to try to have him get away with this? Oh, you got to be kidding me. You're going to try to get Diddy off? If he doesn't see at least minimum life, I don't know, you know, the jury could, it's New York, so look how they went after Trump, right? They could do the same to Diddy, but the opposite, and let him go because he was very big in the Democratic Party, and these Democrats they're very slick people, like they're very non-trustworthy people. And the fact that this trial is in New York and the way this case has been going, it's just been very disgusting. No real witnesses as far as A-list celebrities have not been called or anything. Like, where's the Diddy list? Oh, how come that's silent? Where's the Diddy list? Where is the Diddy list where all the A-listers that were a part of this freak offs, how come they're not getting in trouble? I have a feeling this is going to be like a hung jury type of thing, and he's going to be let go. Hopefully, they're going to have to retrial him, or something's going to have to happen. But there's a good possibility they can let him go, and they can be like, "Look, all right, you know, the jury couldn't come into any conclusions, and they couldn't come, you know, to any decision. So we're just going to like mistrial or a hung jury and let him walk." That would be so devastating. That would be devastating for the fucking case, man. I can't believe what a waste of money and waste of resources for this bullshit. But I have a big feeling this little clown right here has made plenty of phone calls in jail and threatened a lot of people behind bars. And I cannot believe the state did not bring any of that evidence of his phone calls into this case. So that right there, it's already drawing concern. So let's go ahead and continue listening. But Diddy is a piece of shit.
threatened, and coerced women into having sex with paid male escorts. Two main prosecution witnesses, Combs' ex-girlfriends Cassie Ventura, seen here with him in 2016, and a woman who testified under the name Jane. The government says those in Combs' innermost circle, so-called, quote, loyal lieutenants and foot soldiers, cater to his every whim.
And why those people are not getting in trouble?
Testimony jurors heard about and watched videos of
And all these
so-called
drugs.
freak-offs
How come
or
he's not getting in trouble
hotel
with all this
nights,
drugs? Look at all the drugs on the
sometimes
table.
days-long drug-fueled sex sessions.
Look at this.
But Combs insists he's innocent, that any and
He's
all sexual
innocent?
encounters were consensual.
Oh, now they're consensual. So the drugs are consensual too? Wait, I don't even want to hear what she has to say, but right now. But so the drugs is consensual. So the trafficking of minors is consensual. Yeah, in Miami, minors, yes, a lot of them were part of these freak-offs, but none of them has been exposed or brought to court or anything. Like, all that's been silenced. There's so much. This case is a bullshit case, to be honest with you. I just feel like this is something they just want just to get Diddy off, and he's gonna probably walk off of this shit and not get into trouble. I'm pretty sure Diddy is a fucking fed. He has a lot of ties, and he knows he's not gonna get in trouble because money talks, bullshit walks, and he has a lot of powerful people that are up above him that are pulling the strings, and they're gonna do whatever they can to get him off. So it's just ridiculous. Now let's listen to this reporter real quick, and then we'll go to the next story.
5 alternate jurors. The judge did send them home today, but they are not dismissed. They're essentially on standby for if and when they are needed. Again, that third note coming today during the roughly 5th hour of deliberations. When we find more information, we will bring it to you. For now, we're live in Lower Manhattan. Kimberly Richardson.
Yeah, he's guilty. He's guilty, but the problem is that they're gonna make him walk. Let's go to the next story here. Let me set this up real quick, then come back to me. Oh, hey, what's up, Tyson? How you doing, man? I hope you're having a good day, man. I have a feeling he might let off. Yeah, he might get off on this. He has before. It's not like this is not like with the gun charges with the J-Lo in the club, and he shot at the person. He got the gun from J-Lo's purse and shot at the individuals. The individuals saw him. There's like witnesses seeing Diddy shooting, and yet he got away with it. Didn't even serve Joe, no nothing. He got this. That's it. That's what Diddy got. So ridiculous. And you know what's creepy too? And I'm gonna go. It's gonna lead to my next story. The next story here is from the Idaho killer, the one that killed the 2 firefighters. They're trying to pin this guy as a Republican, like he's all Trump. He was a Trump maniac, and his family is all Republican maniacs. And now they're trying to pin this. Oh, look what happened! Now the Republicans are killing the people now and killing. I don't know. Something's foul. It smells foul. And something smells bad about this Idaho shootings that is drawing me red flags, like big time all over the place. And let's listen into the story real quick.
The tragic shooting of 2 Idaho firefighters on Sunday has left many questioning what could possibly be the motive for such a heinous act. But one theory has gripped the internet. In the afternoon on June 29th, first responders were called to a small but active brush fire on the east side of Canfield Mountain near Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. As fire crews moved in to tackle the blaze around 2 p.m., bullets suddenly rained down, fired by an unknown assailant hiding in the woods, officials said. The grisly scene was captured in harrowing 911 audio as firefighters were pinned down by the crazed shooter.
There's an active shooter at a fire. There's potentially 2 battalion chiefs down. They're shot. BC3's down. BC1's down. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here. Then immediately up here, we've got 2 unresponsive battalion chiefs, gunshot wounds, multiple gunshot wounds.
The horrific ordeal ended about 5 hours later when SWAT teams discovered the lifeless body of the shooter next to his firearm on a popular tourist trail, according to police. On June 30th, the shooter was ID'd by police as Wes Rowley. It was confirmed that a Coeur d'Alene firefighter and a Kootenai County Fire and Rescue member lost their lives in the sudden strike, while a third firefighter was left fighting for life after surgery, but is now in stable condition, Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris said in a news conference.
We do believe that the
Democrats already jumped on this.
suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush and it was intentional.
Well, why
While
would
police
you
have yet
ambush?
to release any conclusions on Rowley's motive, internet sleuths discovered a shocking coincidence concerning the town's fire department. The deadly incident occurred 24 years to the day of the deliberate burning of the headquarters of the far-right Aryan Nations group in Hayden Lake, just 7 miles from Coeur d'Alene. Aryan Nation leader Richard Butler was forced to sell the site in a bankruptcy sale after being ordered to pay a Native American woman $6.3 million as part of a lawsuit, after the hate group's security guards had opened fire at the woman, Victoria Keenan, when she stepped outside the building with her son in 1998. Keenan bought the dilapidated compound for $95,000 and sold it to a local philanthropist who let the local Coeur d'Alene Fire Department burn it down as part of a training exercise. On June 28th and 29th of 2001, the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department conducted the training exercise, sending the compound into a furious blaze. Now, conspiracy theorists and locals are questioning whether Sunday's incident may have been a revenge attack for the fire department's deliberate burning down of the compound. So far, there is no indication that Rowley had any political motivations or ties to neo-Nazi groups.
Why would they say that? Wait, first of all, that doesn't make any sense. This kid would have been a baby at that time when that facility burnt down. He would have been like a child. He's nothing but like 20 something years old, about 20 years old. He would have been a baby. So what vendettas is he gonna have? What, like, oh Lord. I hate the news. Sometimes I just hate it because it's just they're questioning it so stupid, and the way they just report the news, like it's so, oh man, they need updated news, like people, and cut the script, because all they read is all these scripts and these talking points in front of them, and it's ridiculous. Next story I want to go to is a little tropical trouble may be in the forecast for Florida, especially northern Florida. Will it affect the southeast Florida, where alligator Alcatraz is going to be? Well, Trump is going there tomorrow to pretty much open up the facility and to have it ready and to take in individuals to be processed and eliminated. Get out of here. Get the boat, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more. Yeah, that's what I said. So let's go ahead and check out this weather. It's basically the tropics.
We've got possible tropical threats brewing off the southeast coast. This new threat emerges after our first landfall of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. And severe storms are charging east to kick off a busy travel week. A cold front is slicing in, bringing in dangerous weather across major East Coast cities tonight and into tomorrow. Plus, the holiday week forecast is looking messy for millions of people. Storms are set to bring a potential travel nightmare, as millions are at risk for having fireworks shows that may be washed out. That's all right now on America's Weather Center. Let's get you started with that update. The Atlantic hurricane season springing back to life this afternoon as we head into this upcoming holiday week. We're watching the potential for tropical developments, and we take you to Hudson, Florida, an area that doesn't look too bright, as we still have a couple of clusters of showers and storms hanging offshore. Now, as we fast forwarded through this week, next 7 days will be very interesting. We have this 20% chance of tropical development across the southeast coastline. And we're heading right into the 4th of July weekend. So we know a lot of folks have all eyes on those travel destinations. You're trying to get to where you need to be. Keep a close eye to this as well. We do have updates that are coming through. The new advisory just came out at about 2 o'clock today. No major changes. Still watching, though, this overall area across Florida for possible developments in the days ahead. And a lot of this has to do with the overall setup. We're in that time of the season, time of the year, where we have these cold fronts that slice across the country. And this one cold front is going to impact a lot of different areas and regions. But for Florida, this could mean a tropical threat at hand. Here's our front. By the end of the week, it likes to stall out across parts of Florida. What this means is that we could have a weak low pressure system form somewhere along that front that could become tropical in nature heading into the weekend. Right now, it's quiet.
It looks like the western part.
It's been overholding
The
parts of the
rotation's
Gulf
on the
Coast. It's been
east,
keeping things
and the
at bay,
storms is in the
suppressing
west.
any type of tropical development. A lot of the storms that you see in an area like Hudson, Florida, are still hanging offshore, but again, not really impacting those folks directly in a tropical nature, just your average run-of-the-mill thunderstorm of the summer. Upstairs in the higher up levels of the atmosphere, we do have some hostile winds across parts of the Gulf, so that's something that we also watch very closely to see if that would suppress any type of storm activity. But there's a couple of pockets that make things a little bit more interesting. And those pockets are where we could have that low develop and become tropical in nature. Want to look at how things can pretty much overall play out. So we take you to this weekend, the overall steering mechanisms that are at play. A huge dip in the jet stream that gives us a break from those highs that are in place. We have one out towards the Atlantic, one in the Gulf Coast. With the dip in the jet stream, that allows for a bit of a break in between. And that's where we have a good pocket where we could see a possible development in place. Tropical depression, we have about a medium chance right in the middle, that yellow for the panhandle of Florida. That's a good chance of seeing something develop in this part of the season. Now, that 20% chance, it takes over parts of the Gulf and moves over towards the Gulf Stream and along the East Coast. This is because this is an area that has a conducive environment. So temperatures are in the 80s, upper 80s, near 90 in a lot of the Gulf Coast, Gulf Stream in the upper 80s too. If that low develops in either one of these areas, it does have what's needed for it to further develop, to become a tropical depression heading through the weekend. The sea surface temperatures, they have been warm and they just continue to warm. If you look at the blue line, that is last year. We know we had a record year last year for the season. Yellow's not too far off, and that's this season, the 2025 year. Looking at the overall developments, if we get a tropical depression or not, if that low never breaks away from the main front, we still could see tropical downpours. And we could see that really along the Tampa Bay area, back across the panhandle of Florida, Panama City, moving down into Crystal City, along that I-75 corridor, could see some heavy rain. We're talking 5 to 8 inches in the area. So here's where we could see the heaviest of the rain hugging the Gulf Coast, heading through the next couple of days. I think by the end of the week, we'll have a very clear depiction of how this kind of plays out. Will this become a tropical depression heading through at least Thursday and into Friday? So very interesting stuff here from the National Hurricane Center. We'll keep a close eye on it. Of course, when you have rain totals,
they need the rain
5 to 8
anyways.
inches, that does amount to a flood risk that could be at play. So
They need the rain, but my concern is, like, you see how it's starting, the tropical systems, and they're impacting Florida. That's what I'm worried about Alcatraz. Like, I'm worried about alligator Alcatraz because, you know, it could be heavy rains and it could flood. And then you have the threat of alligators around the area. And not only that, but hurricane force winds. I don't care if you have a temporary structure, hurricane winds will destroy that structure. A minimum hurricane, not even a minimum, maybe a tropical storm could destroy those structures. And it's the gust of winds that could just rapidly come through. It could gust through and rip those tents and topple those trailers over like nothing. I don't know if it's a good idea. To me, I would have built a facility, a true big detention facility, a proper one that's like concrete, like fortified, hurricane proof facility. Not this temporary shit that if a storm comes, even a minimum one, could throw that whole operation into chaos, because where the fuck are you gonna put 1,000 people at one time, and where are you gonna put them at as if a storm is coming or approaching? Where are you gonna put those people at? That's just my concern. Let's go back to Benny Johnson's show, because Disney unveils Donald Trump at Disney. So there's the Hall of Presidents. Give me 1 second. Let me come back to me. There is a ride that's the Hall of Presidents, and you get to, it's a sit down, chill. I used to like go in there to listen and to take a break, because it's nice and cool inside there. And not only that it's cool, but you're out of the sun. You're listening to history as portrayed by Disney. But I want you guys to look at this shit. I'm looking at it for the first time as you are. This Benny Johnson just came out with this about 25 minutes ago, and I've been on live for over an hour. So this has been released while I was here live. So we're gonna watch it together, because this is the first time I'm watching it. So let's watch it together.
Benny, there are a lot of subtle ways that you could tell that the creatives at Disney have Trump derangement syndrome. There are these little threads that are woven all throughout their TV products and their movie products that have all been hot garbage over the last decade or so, ever since a terminal case of Trump derangement syndrome affected Hollywood and especially Disney Studios, where, of course, you have patient zero, people like Bob Iger, Kathleen Kennedy, Bob Chapek, and all of the executives at Disney that are left-wing activists. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't need to look too far into the manifest of the Disney Corporation to see that they have Trump derangement. All you have to do is look at the way they did Trump in a ride called the Hall of Presidents. This is what Disney says.
What the fuck is that?
Donald Trump.
What the fuck is that?
This was President Trump.
Wait a minute. I have to pause this. Let me take off my glasses. I don't know if Tyson is still here. If Tyson De La Cruz is here, just mention something in the chat. But if you're here, dude, what the fuck? I have to take off my glasses for a second. Hold on. Oh my god, let me stretch. Oh, what are they doing? What is going on here? Hold on. Let me make myself bigger here. What is happening? Why does Trump look like Ellen DeGeneres? Why is he looking like Ellen DeGeneres? Literally, that's what she looks like right now. Trump does not even look like that. Oh man, this makes me want to like not go to Disney, because my sister wanted me to go to Disney with my niece. After just seeing this, it really just discourages me wanting to even step into that property. I don't even want to go there. I really don't. I don't. I wanted to just do it, like, to go because of my niece, and she wants to go. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go. I don't know. Especially after what I'm just after just experiencing and watching what I'm watching right now, this look like, hold on, let me make it big. Give me 1 sec. That looks like Ellen DeGeneres. That looks like it had a stroke, and it's like, there's something like, if this was a person standing in front of me, this animatronics, I would be like, I can't believe they did this to Trump. This is oh my god, what an embarrassment. What an embarrassment, Disney. And no wonder your company is failing, and you're not doing good in movies, and you're not doing good in your videos, and you're not doing good in your fucking Disney Plus bullshit. Look at this shit that you guys are doing. Like, how is this a professional how is this professional? How is this Disney? Like you created so much, like, and yet you can't create a life-size Trump. That doesn't even look like Trump. That looks like Ellen DeGeneres. That looks like Ellen. I swear to God. Like, it looks like Ellen. Okay, let's continue on and listen in, because this is scaring me. This right here is so pitiful. Look at the nose. Look at the eyebrows. This doesn't even look like fucking Trump. It looks like Ellen. It looks like Ellen.
In his rubberized animatron during round 1 of the Hall of Presidents ride at Disney, where all of the presidents stand up and give a little speech, right? Maybe you've seen this ride. It's a pretty popular ride. You sit down and all the presidents get to stand up and chat. And there's a neat little feature where the current president gets to talk to you, and the president of the United States actually does a voice recording for that. So it's a very neat little touch. And the rumor was that this was actually Hillary Clinton, and that the libs at Disney were so excited to put Hillary Clinton into this ride that they actually just used her rubberized face. You can kind of see it, can't you?
Hillary,
Big,
yeah,
fat,
I can't
round,
see it. But I see more Ellen
right?
DeGeneres.
Wobbly. It looks a lot more like Hillary than it does Trump, doesn't it? It looks like they took a Hillary Clinton face and they
Yeah, it
slapped
looks like
Trump's hair
Hillary.
on it, is what this looks like.
If you put the hair
Anyway,
on
the
it,
rumor is that that's what they did. They were so seething mad in 2016 that they went and they actually just transed the Hillary Clinton mask robot that they had already built. It was such a sure thing.
That's
They were
horrible.
ready to go. Well, anyway, they got a chance to, of course, swap out Trump after the 2020 election with Joe Biden.
President throughout history. I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
More lifelike than the actual Joe Biden. Isn't that
I
something?
know he has more
Like, look at
movement
this.
than the real Biden.
Look at this guy. Like,
the Constitution.
It actually speaks in full
Was
sentences.
this the auto pen
They've
Biden?
added like 50 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, he looks like the auto pen Biden.
And he moves more fluidly than the actual Joe Biden. And what people were noticing is that they threw Donald Trump way up in the corner, as far away as you can get Trump. They put him there, and that Donald Trump just sits there glaring at the Joe Biden. So they have all these other like random presidents that nobody can name, and then they have Donald Trump up there glaring way up in the corner.
Why did he put
away
Donald Trump
from
in the
Joe
back?
Biden. Okay, got it. So this was Disney effing around. Here's the internet effing around, replacing the Joe Biden script with something a little more accurate.
These truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap.
Okay. Well, this is very accurate for a Disney product.
This is bad.
Very, very scary. Okay. So that would have been an accurate Joe Biden. Well, Disney has learned a little bit. Disney has been trying to de-wokeify its entire company, its rides and so on. And Disney, ladies and gentlemen, is now trying to make up for the sins of the past by remaking Donald Trump in the Hall of Presidents. Donald Trump no longer looks like a rubber Hillary, like a fat rubber Hillary Clinton.
Hillary slash Ellen
whose
DeGeneres.
body's been sitting at the bottom of a lake.
It looks like Ellen
since 1981. Donald Trump now looks a little better, a bit better. It was just revealed this weekend. In fact, right on Sunday, Disney's Hall of Presidents open with a revamped.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better.
It looks a lot stronger. Maybe they got.
Yeah, he looks a little bit better. The face looks a little bit more like
how they did Donald Trump dirty Ladies and gentlemen, Donald Trump is back. I'll play you the full scene here in just a second.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind going just to see it,
Donald
like
Trump
to
back
see Trump.
and looking strong, ladies and gentlemen.
I would go
Back
and
on
record
display.
it. If I was to go to Disney and I
Disney's
go
Hall of
there,
Presidents
like I
here
would
in
film it
Florida.
and then show you guys.
There we go. That looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks better. Like compared to the Hillary looking, like it looked like the Blob for a second. This Trump doesn't look that bad. Oh man, I'm only gonna go to Disney because of my niece. You know, it'd be her first time going, and I would like to be a part of that and go. I know we're gonna go as a family, so yeah, like we're supposed to get together and somewhere around October ish. I'm not 100% sure yet because of my health and so forth. So, but the plan is to get together and possibly go to Disney. We'll end up probably going to Disney. We'll definitely be going to SeaWorld. That's for sure. I also want to go to Epic Universe, but most likely be going to Disney just because for my niece, you know, because of my niece, and my wallet's gonna take a hit. I'm gonna cry that day because Disney is not cheap at all, and going there with a 4-year-old, you better make sure you have enough money. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna say, look, you better have enough money. And I'll make sure I'll get her what she wants and needs, and some stuff I'm gonna have to tell her no because of the ridiculousness of Disney. But there's things that I'm gonna say yes and get it for her. You know, and the fact that others are gonna be with us as a group, so she's gonna have core memories. These are core memory events that will be etched in her mind. So I want to be a part of that, you know. So because I remember a lot when I was a little youngling at the age 2-3 years old. I remember a lot at that age. Now me showing up, you know, to go and do these events with them will be a big part of her future and could pretty much set the fabric of the direction she heads into for her future. And you know, I want her to have the best and have the best opportunity and whatever she desires. You know, it's at least Trump looks better. Let's go ahead and continue with Benny. He got another like 4 minutes.
I mean, it certainly looks a lot more accurate. That's definitely a lot more accurate, right? I mean,
yeah, he looks more better
than this. Come on, the Trump Duran, they couldn't.
No, the Ellen DeGeneres. They did
the
Trump so
creator,
dirty.
the Imagineer at Disney.
Because they thought Hillary was going to win, so they
work
did the Hillary mask, but then
President
Trump won, and they had to mold it.
Yeah,
like
look at that.
And
they actually did a totally okay job here.
Change it.
They did.
But if I do
President
go,
Donald Trump
I'll go in
returned to the stage
person
because of Trump's
and I'll record it,
non-connected
and I'll show it
terms.
to
This
you
is the
guys.
first time a figure of foreign president has been repositioned.
I'll post it on my
and
Discord.
remade. Hall of Presidents Magic Kingdom reopened. 5-month refurbishment. The show features a pre-recorded performance by the Oath Office by Donald Trump. And this is what the Hall of Presidents look like. And there you go.
I would like to get the front so I can record the.
Show me what does Joe Biden look like?
I can record Trump.
They moved Joe Biden to the back. Now you can go and you can see the Hall of Presidents again. And book it on your little tour. See if there's any. Let's see if there's any new.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go.
Photos here.
Like I said, it's only for my niece.
Oh, that's an old one.
I'm not a fan of Disney. I don't want to be giving Disney money.
This is just doing the announcement.
But
this is the old Donald Trump.
Oh my God! Look at the old one.
Man, they did him dirty. Here's the
Oh my
new dog.
God! Look at that. I have to hit pause. Look at that. Oh my God! That looks creepy. Like if I was to go there, look. Oh my God! This is horrible. Oh no! It looks like Ellen. It does. It's like Hillary / Ellen had a baby. This would have came out just like this.
Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, not an old rubberized Hillary Clinton. You can see it, right? You can see that it was supposed to be Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Here's the new one, ladies and gentlemen. Great improvement. Everything improving in this country, even Disney. What do you know? Here you go.
Yeah, that looks horrible. This is the new one.
And now we come to the present.
Oh, it looks new.
We
It looks
place our
better.
trust in the idea of a president, as we have from the beginning.
My fellow citizens, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than that notification on the 14th day of April, 1789, that you had selected me to lead our nation. But it was with the confidence of my fellow citizens that I took an oath. 35 simple words that have been repeated by every American president throughout history.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So help me God.
Trump doesn't use a stamp like that, but it's okay. I mean, at least they got the face
in the world.
and the
An
hair.
office entrusted to each president by us, we the people. Therein lies the
Biden back
genius
here.
of that
Did they
new
put Biden
idea,
back here?
now over 200 years old. A new idea our presidents have turned into a great American idea again and again.
And then Bush. Obama shouldn't have never been president, to be honest with you. He brainwashed a lot of people, but then people started making. So that was it. So what do you guys think of the upgrades? It looks actually a little bit more like Trump. I mean, damn, that first time around, man, it looked like they left the mannequin outside in that Florida heat, and it melted. And it melted. Let me see if I could bring that picture back of the Trump. Yeah, I can do it. Okay, let's look at this shit. What is that? If that was Hillary / I say Ellen DeGeneres, the closest that I come to is this is Ellen's baby. I'm thinking maybe they left this outside, and I'm trying to give them a reason to like cover for them, right? I'm trying to like come up with something like they left it outside in the heat and the plastics and the wax melted, and this is the result of the Florida sun like beaming on the mannequin face, and it's just started melting. It looks like this mannequin had a seizure, and it looks like it needs medical attention like right now. If this was a person that was standing in front of me and looked like this, I would tell them they need to get to the hospital. Like they need to go immediately. You might be having a seizure / maybe a stroke, possibility of both at the same time. Yeah. Oh no. What is that? Look at the eyes. Look at the nose. Look at this. Trump's lips. The face is not like this. Like this. Like I got melted. Oh man, not good. Just I try to like cover for Disney and just say, look, I blame it maybe the heat and the sun, and it just started going like, I'm melting. Oh. And then they're like, oh shit, what the fuck? Now what we gonna do, man? Look how fucked up this shit looks. Like, what should we do? Oh, let's do what we can, and we have to present him. We have to put him up there like that. Like, just try to do your best. Make sure the hair looks like a little like his hair, which it doesn't even look like that much, not even close. But at least they did the improvements. It looks better. I mean, a lot better than the Ellen DeGeneres looking one. Like you're going from like this. That looks crazy looking. That looks so crazy looking to this. No, this is the crazy looking one. That's the first one. That's just a different angle. Where is it? Let me find it. Okay, going to this, which is it looks so much better. Like it looks better. It looks more presentable. It actually kind of does look like Trump. Like from there to from this. And we're talking about that was a horrible this. Let me look at the, oh my god, look at the neck. Look at the neck. Look at the neck. Whose neck is like that? Like look at the inside of it. Look at this right here. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, what is that? Why is his ear so low? Like down here. Like, whose ear is that low compared to this ear? Like, this looks like Ellen DeGeneres. It truly looks like Ellen. I'm sorry, it looks like Ellen. Oh no. But look at the improvement. Yeah, it's a nice different, like, nice. It looks more. It actually looks like Trump. At least this one could pass. The first one was, what the fuck was that? But that looks cool. I mean, when I go to Disney and I sit there and watch the show together, like, I'll record it and I'll show you guys. I'll record it and I'll show y'all. Next story. Let me set it up here.
We do have Congressman David Kustoff, a Republican representing the West Tennessee area. And this is a post from him on social media. He said, "The one big beautiful bill is everything we promised to the American people. Democrats are trying to derail the America First agenda, but the House GOP won't let them." I do want to bring in Congressman Kustoff to talk all about this here. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me today.
Of course. And first off, I did want to ask you overall your initial thoughts here as you're watching all of this play out in the Senate, this quote unquote vote-a-rama.
Yeah. Well, democracy is messy, and we're seeing that live in action. We've seen it for the past month or so. I'll remind people who are watching that about a month ago, a little over a month ago, the House passed our version of the one big beautiful bill. The Senate has been debating it and contemplating it now for several weeks. But the fact of the matter is, this bill, whether it's the House version, the Senate version, it pretty much captures what President Trump campaigned on in 2024, making sure that the 2017 tax cuts, which were so beneficial to people across the country, that they become permanent. Because if this bill that you see the Senate debating on right now doesn't pass, all those tax cuts expire at the end of the year. So that'll be a huge tax increase to the American people. But it's also President Trump's border policy that he talked about all throughout 2024 and campaigned on in 2024. The energy policy that President Trump campaigned on last year, all of those elements are in the one big beautiful bill. So to me, that election in 2024 was a mandate from the American people to President Trump, to the United States Senate, to the House of Representatives, people like me. Let's get this codified into law. Let's make sure that it benefits the American people.
What do you think it is about the one big beautiful bill that has some Republicans, just a handful of them, voting no here? Because we saw a few senators that were Republican that did vote against it. So what are your thoughts there? What is it about the bill that has them saying no?
You know, there are some that say, look, we should be cutting more than what the one big beautiful bill does. I will note that the version that passed the House will cut about $1.6 trillion over 10 years. That is significant. That is real. That's out of mandatory programs. You do have some that look at what we have talked about in terms of cutting fraud and waste and abuse from programs like Medicaid that will save the American taxpayer. There's some of my Republican brethren that are concerned about that. There's a really wonky policy, SALT, state and local taxes, that 8 years ago, we capped at $10,000 that would save over $1 trillion over 10 years. What we worked on in the House will raise those caps on SALT to $40,000. Of course, the Senate is working on their own version of SALT, and there's some of my brethren from states like California and New York that are concerned about not raising the cap enough in their view. So I get all that. But to my conservative brethren in the Senate and the House, and my moderate brethren in the House and the Senate, I would say, don't let the enemy of perfect be good or what have you. I get that for some it doesn't do enough or may do too much, but if it does 60 or 70 or 80% of what you want it to do, that's really good. And you can work on the other later on. Look, President Trump has told us he would like to sign this and get it on his desk by July the 4th. We've known that for quite some time. Let's get it past the finish line in the Senate. We'll vote on it in the House Wednesday or maybe even Thursday. Let's get it done and let's deliver for the American people.
And that's kind of my next question here is that July 4th deadline possible? Can you meet that deadline based on what you're seeing play out there in the Senate?
You know, we can still get it done by then, and I think we likely will. Now, if it were to slip by a day or two or three or four or five, that is not such a bad thing. But one thing in the one big beautiful bill that's important, and there are a lot of things that are important. Number one, it removes uncertainty for individuals so that they know how to plan, and also for small business and for our family farms. But in the one big beautiful bill, we do raise the debt ceiling. And as we know, the Treasury Secretary has said that we're going to hit the debt ceiling soon, within the next month to 2 months or so. And if we don't get this passed, the markets and credit rating agencies are going to take a look. They're going to say that's not good for business. That's not good for the U.S. government, and ultimately not good for the American taxpayer and consumer. So when we pass the one big beautiful bill, it will raise the debt ceiling, and ultimately that'll be good for the financial markets and for everybody who plans. It'll get rid of that uncertainty.
And one thing we've seen is that the bill does put a significant amount of funding into defense and the border there. To the opposing side, the people who are against all of this, tell them why this is all so important, especially right now, in your opinion.
So I'm really glad you raised that border issue, because I think if you asked President Trump, he would say that the number one issue that he saw talking to people all across the country was making sure our border was secure. And, you know, you look at the numbers of people crossing illegally last year in 2024 compared to now, where they were so significant last year, and now they are really down, along with the deportations. That was really important to the American people. I keep thinking about in the election, the talk about all those swing states, the 7 swing states. President Trump won all of those swing states. That border issue was paramount to voters in those swing states and all across the nation. So it does a lot of good. And when you think about the one big beautiful bill, allowing the border wall to be completed, allowing for more border control agents to be hired across the country, and also paying them more money, that's a win. And I don't think it matters whether you're Republican, Democrat, or independent. It speaks to all those people, all the voters across the nation.
And kind of going in reverse a little bit, my last question for you. We know that a lot of people have brought up the fact that the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office says this would increase the deficit by about $3.3 trillion over the next decade. What do you say to people who are maybe concerned about that, and that could potentially be one of their big holdups?
So I would say that the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, really historically does not do a good job of capturing future growth, by making the tax cuts permanent, by giving that certainty to small business and family farms. In my district, I've got the largest ag district in the state of Tennessee, and also medium-sized business and large businesses, that the growth is going to be exponential. And just like they're not capturing it now when they score this bill, they also didn't do that in 2017. So we saw revenues go up to the U.S. Treasury 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24. They forecasted being down. Now, what happened is spending also went up a lot during those first 2 Biden years when Democrats had absolute control of government, the White House, the Senate, the House. So let's take the uncertainty out. Let's provide growth for individuals and for businesses across the country so that the economy can zoom just like it did during the 4 years of Trump 1.0.
Hey, Congressman Kustoff, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Anything else you want to add about any of this here before I let you go?
Well, I would say to those people who are watching, do let your congressmen and senators know how you feel. I mean, that's a benchmark of how I vote. I measure how people tell me how they want me to vote versus what's good and what's in the best interest of the nation. This is going to be, for I think most members of the House of Representatives and for the Senate, one of the most consequential votes that they will take during the courses of their career.
All right, Congressman, thank you again for taking the time to be here with us. We appreciate it.
Wow. Okay, so let's go to the next story here.
Well, that did not take long. President Trump threatening to walk away from trade talks with Canada, and then boom, shakalaka, Ottawa, blink. Canada has now scrapped its controversial digital services tax, a cash grab that would have shaken down American technology giants with millions of dollars in penalties. The president says the time for pleasantries is over.
Canada is a very tough country to deal with, I will say that. And I love Canada.
You have USMCA in place.
I know, but
you'll have to deal with it.
USMCA is no good if they cheat.
What does that mean?
Well, there's been things going on that we don't like, and things going on where they took advantage. And hopefully we'll be fine with Canada. I love Canada. Frankly, Canada should be the 51st state.
Wall Street liking what it sees from the White House. Stocks jumping to new highs. The S&P and NASDAQ on pace for the second straight day of record closes. So on Friday, when you read the headline about the spat with Canada about the digital services tax, I actually...
Did you roll your eyes at me, Dagan?
No. Oh, golly, no.
Dagan never does that.
But after the fact, I was very unmoved by what Canada was doing, because I knew instinctively we could count in hours how long it would take for them to reverse course.
Yeah, blink and you miss it. They blinked and they missed it. And this is interesting. I'm actually curious if how the EU is thinking about this as well, because they've been targeting our big tech companies as well as part of their sort of tariff retaliation strategy. So look, Dagan, I think it's key that they have rolled that back. I think that's smart for negotiations. It allows us to really come forward with full faith. There's no reason why how do I say this? We are the most innovative entrepreneurship economy. The fact that Canada gets to benefit from our big tech companies doesn't mean they get to do a 3% tax. If they want to do that, they should invent some of the cool companies on their own. But guess what? They're not. We are. We're inventing these awesome tech companies that everyone else gets to benefit from. And also quickly with these markets, Dagan, I will say pretty astonishing. I think I read a note. We're up 28% from the April 8 bottom. That's incredible. And June really never sees record highs. You get them towards the latter. You get some January and a lot December in the back half. So the fact that you're starting to seem to, I think this market's really optimistic about some of these other trade deals coming down.
I think, and also based on the fact that so many people have missed this bounce in this second quarter and even this month alone, they've spent so much time navel-gazing at the Fed.
Going up.
Oh, what's the Fed going to do? Forget about it. Get in there, make your money work. And some people have done that, and they've done very, very well. But there's still a ton of money on the sidelines that needs to go to work. And as for the trade deals, I always thought Canadians were supposed to be the nicest people in the world. But apparently not when it comes to dealing. But they caved today, and that's the right decision.
Who told you that?
Big Papa took out his stick. Okay. We knew this was going to happen on Friday. Sometimes the children like to push back a little and test the boundaries and see what they could get away with. But I knew they were not getting away with this. Nobody at this table thought they were going to get away with it. And sure enough, they dropped it. President Trump, in his amazing interview with Maria Bartiromo, had a lot of sound bites, including ones on Canada. At one point, he said, Canada relies entirely on the United States. We don't rely on Canada. And he went on to give examples of situations where they're charging our farmers substantial amounts to bring goods into the country. And so at the end of the day, I don't even know what they were thinking to impose this tax while a negotiation was happening. I guess they just wanted to see if they could get away with it, and it didn't fly. But they are going to have to work out these issues because it's an important trading relationship for us, for sure. I think the president recognizes that. But he's made it clear nobody's walking all over us anymore. And why I'm really shocked is because he has so much wind at his back right now, whether it was NATO, whether it was the operation in the Middle East and taking out Iran's nuclear facility, whether it's the economy, whether it's the big, beautiful bill, which looks like it's on its way. This is not the time to mess with him.
I just want to say and answer the question about are Canadians nice? Yes, they are. I am married to one. I know for sure that they're nice. And maybe that's the problem. You know, they backed up like that. But mostly because our economy is 15 times the size of their economy. We dominate them in almost every way. You know, everything from like culturally, you know, the music they're listening to, the TV shows they're watching. So it's no surprise here that Canada had to back down. And hopefully the EU does the same thing. But I just want to say, here's the deal. Here's the bottom line here. 78% of the goods that Canada produces gets sold into the U.S. We are their audience, their end market for so much of what they make, whether it's oil or autos. They need us more than we need them.
We need everybody to be buyers of our treasuries, though. And there's one thing, and Secretary of the Treasury, Scott Bessent, gave an interview this morning, and he was talking about, and I know, well, we all watched it, we all saw it. Secretary Bessent thinks that the 10-year yield is too high at the moment, and he's not going to increase issuance up at the long end at these levels. this is critically important because yields and what people pay to borrow and what the United States pays to borrow directly impacts the valuation on stocks. And the Treasury still has to roll over in the next year 1/3 of its debt. And the vast majority of that, or most of it, is on the short end. And so this is something that we're going to have to watch over the next year. And Secretary Bessent, he was talking about it even before he was sworn in, about right sizing the maturity schedule. But even now, he's still saying that the 10-year rate is still too high. However, I will note that Stephanie Pomboy writes today that despite our stunning evisceration of Iran's nuclear ambitions and the president brokering of a redoubled commitment by NATO, the dollar and the U.S. Treasury have received, quote, zero ostensible benefit from that.
Yeah,
so they should
not a
have
lot
gotten,
of love.
Right, they should have gotten more than that. And
Absolutely.
so it shows the pressure that the dollar and our debt could be feeling.
I read an interesting note, Dagan. I did this for you because we've talked about, when you talk about the dollar and treasuries, that whole, remember in April, American exceptionalism is over. Sell America, go abroad. One note I read this morning said there has certainly been an allocation to international equities, but that's because there's such a big decline in global benchmarks for U.S., given how much would come down, that's natural. But the conclusion was we do not find any evidence to support the narrative that foreign investors have been allocating away from U.S. stocks more than just reallocating normally as they have to their benchmark. So I love Scott Bessent. I think he's obviously one of the smartest people in the room. He's also out there saying that, you know what, we're the only country in the world where our 10-year yield is lower now than it was in January. Everyone else, their 10-year yield is higher than where it was a few months ago. So certainly that's been something on his mind.
It's interesting. And talking of Scott Bessent, have you noticed how he's kind of trying to follow up behind the president? The president says, we're going to get all these trade deals done within the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Very good. They're all going to come to the table. And Scott Bessent is like, well, yeah, maybe. I think we'll get the ball rolling in many cases, but I don't think we're going to get an actual deal done and signed within that time frame. But it would be interesting, just to get back to these trade deals, is that within the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we could get 10 to 12 countries, if we could get India, who's had a team negotiating at the White House for a while, if we could get a major one under our belt or more, that would be excellent. China's still hanging out there. We have somewhat of a truce, I think, right now, which is fine, because that's going to take some time. But we need that. And I think Scott Bessent is interesting. He's like, you know, I'd love for it to happen the way the president wants to happen, but hey, it may not. But we'll see.
But this also goes to why the next Federal Reserve chairman is so important.
Yes.
Because so much of the debt is on the short end, and that's why it's so critical that one reason to cut rates here. So the next Fed chief, the open seats and comes up in January 2026. So they're going to put the...
See you later.
That's not that far off.
I know, have the
couple months,
14-year seat, have that individual looming over.
Yes.
JJ.
Do we need to talk about how excited you were that you spilled your water? We were so excited about the new Fed chair and treasuries.
I spilled an entire cup of water. I thought I handled it really well.
You did. You didn't skip a beat. It was a flood. And you just carried it.
Yeah, I built a dam with my papers like this. You couldn't see me. Taylor was talking. I built a dam so it didn't get on my lap. And I just was doing that like that. But everything is, all the ink is running all over the place. But
you want to do something fun?
At least it was water.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, so this is going to be the next one is going to be the last video of the night. I'm just keeping it to 2 hours right now because I want to relax. I want to lay down. I want to get to bed early tonight. It's just we got plenty that's going to be coming. You know, every day is a new day, and every day there's news and the energy. We feel the energy. We laugh. We have good times here, and I try to do my best commentary and and laugh. Laughing is it's good. It's good for the soul, right? This next one, this is gonna be just a short, but it's a weird one, and I want you guys to look at this and tell me what you think. And this is gonna definitely be the last video of the night, so let me know what you think.
He just sized that guy up. Just keeping Walmart safe. The streets of Walmart are rough. Cat got your tongue?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's your name?
We don't have a name yet.
Yo, Walmart
It's
has got
security.
security that's a robot. Whoa.
It's the
This
security,
is the
and they're
first of
using a
its
robot.
kind. He just sized that guy up. Just keeping Walmart safe. The streets of Walmart are rough. Cat got your tongue?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's your name?
We don't have a name yet.
Yo, Walmart has got a security that's a robot.
That's you know
This
what
is
I
the first
feel
of its
about this
kind.
video.
He just sized that guy up. Just keeping Walmart safe.
What I feel about it is I think they're trying to get people's information, and what I mean by that is taking pictures of people's tags in the parking lot. You may think this is a security phase or something. What the fuck this is gonna secure outside, right? It makes you wonder, right? It's like, is it more than just security what they're trying to do? I think they're trying to get people's tags information so that way they can put in a data bank that they know, like, these people, these vehicles shop at this Walmart. And this is mostly like for their research and for their quality, for their like invoice and filling up their shelves, and not only that, but tracking people who come to Walmart and how often do they come to Walmart, right? Because the security thing can go around taking like videos of people tags and saving all this information, right? And then if you come to Walmart another day and this little robot comes through and takes your license, then they know, okay, you were here last week on Monday and now you're here on a Thursday, and we're tracking your times that you're coming here, not through your purchases or whatever so forth, but through your vehicle that's parked in the parking lot. That's very disturbing, Walmart. That's I have a video of Walmart with their fucking robots. Talking about videos, I took this video myself. Let me go to my channel. I have my own experience with robots from Walmart, okay? Now you go to my shorts. That sounds funny. You go into my shorts. And I'll show you. You go into my Mind Over Your Matter. It's pretty. I took this picture. There's a crescent. This is a solar eclipse that I took, and this is during the Connecticut. This was like way back. Oh my god, like a long time ago, where it came out like this. I have another video of another eclipse that I took. The last one that came through here. I was in New Hampshire when the eclipse passed by, and I have the whole video. It should be somewhere around here. I do have video of it, but it's actually a long video. It's not a short video. I should clip it and put it as a short. Here's the robot right here. It's my first shorts that I ever took that I put up on YouTube. And if you click right here, this is my video. Look at the robot scanning the products. You don't think the robot outside is not doing the same with the tags? Ha ha ha. Caught you, Walmart, because I took video of Walmart. This is my video that I recorded at my Walmart. And I was like, what the fuck is this robot? Like, it's in the way. Like, people are trying to go around it. But I evidence. I come with receipts. And I did this video. I was like, what the fuck is this robot? Like, I've never seen it before. And it's actually taking inventory of what's on the shelves. Look at that. You don't think it could do the same thing with the vehicles outside? Don't be so naive. Come on. Come on. But yeah, I took this video. You could go and watch it for yourself. Go watch my other shorts too. You'll like them. It's very relaxing. A lot of them are very relaxing. It's a lot of waterfalls. But poor lady here, because she was trying to go around this damn thing that's in the fucking middle of the way. She did a U-turn. She's laughing. She had to do a U-turn because this shit is blocking the middle of the path. Like, how you go around this shit? The robot has to go around. Look. Like, people are looking at it like it's weird. And it was very weird. I feel bad for the old lady because the old lady wanted to get through. Right? You see, this one walks through. He's fine. He's like, fuck it. But this thing is scanning the shelves. Right? And then the old lady, she wanted to go through because she wanted to go down the aisle. But she grabbed her chips. She put it in the bag. She wanted to go down, but she noticed she couldn't go through because the fucking robot is in the middle of the way. And she's like, oh, man, fuck this shit. I'm just going to go around here. Like, let me smile and get the fuck out of here. Because she couldn't go through. This damn robot was in the way. You don't think that robot outside, let's go to the robot outside of Walmart. Let me set it up real quick. You don't think this robot that's outside is not grabbing your information from your cars? Don't be so naive. Like, don't be so trustworthy with Walmart. Walmart it's not good. Okay, I'm just saying this is not good. And Walmart tried to do this with the inside inventory inside, and they were scanning their products. And I took that video. Now, somebody took this video of this robot here, and I'll play it for you guys so you can see.
The streets of Walmart are rough. Cat, got your tongue?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's your name?
We don't have a name yet.
Is someone live?
Walmart has got a security that's a robot. Whoa. This is the first of its kind. He just sized that guy up. Just keeping Walmart safe. The streets of Walmart are rough. Cat, got your tongue?
Oh, what'd you say?
What's your name?
We don't have a name yet.
You see, it has sensors all around here. These are all cameras. These are cameras up here, and it has a 360-degree camera, so it's constantly recording everything. And I'm telling you, they're grabbing people's license plates. This is a license plate grabber. This is not security. Okay, let's say, for instance, this robot comes into an issue. Okay, let's say he's security, right? What the fuck this robot is gonna do? Tell me, what this robot is gonna do? Security. It says security on the robot. What this security robot is going to do to help someone if they're being robbed in the parking lot? Is it gonna explode? Is it gonna do something that is gonna help the person that's being robbed? Like, what are you possibly going? What are you doing out there? They're taking license plate information. Every single one of those vehicles that pass through there and so forth, and you have this robot in the parking lot, it's taking your tag information. That's what's happening. So, with that said, it was a nice night. I had a good time. Did 2 hours. Yeah, it's 2 is good. So I want to wish everybody a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. My knee popped for some reason. Ouch, that hurt. Oh, don't you hate when that happens? It's just popped. Like it felt like something in my knee popped. Weird. I'll catch you on the flip side, and we'll do this again tomorrow. We got the 4th of July too, so I'll be here for all those goodie days. Tomorrow, I want to come on early to intercept Trump arrival to Alligator Alcatraz. I would like to have that live if they do have a conference and if he does speak there, which most likely he will. I want to have it live here. Also, tomorrow night we'll recap of what happened during the day, and then we'll have a 4th of July show, which I'll probably do early, but I probably won't do the evening because the fireworks are going to be too crazy, and it's going to be very loud. I might do a show at night. I don't know. I may want to go see the fireworks because there's an area where I can go where it's like private, but you can park on the side on the side, and you can watch the fireworks from a distance, which is a pretty cool idea. Which I think I'll probably end up doing tomorrow because tomorrow is when they're actually not tomorrow. It's going to be Wednesday. It's going to be the 2nd, I believe. They're shooting the fireworks in my town. Each town has a certain day. Everybody don't shoot off at the same time because of the air quality. So every town has a different date. And talking about different dates and about 4th of July, let's finish off the show with this, and then I'll end the show properly. But I want to show at least this video because it's kind of like a safety thing for the 4th of July. I think it's a good thing to watch. So let's go ahead and go to it.
Just days away from the 4th of July. That's a time for cookouts, gatherings, and fireworks, as you know. We've got some important reminders and safety tips to help keep you and your family safe this holiday. Joining me now is Dr. Elisa Savedimal, director of the Connecticut Burn Center at Bridgeport Hospital. Doctor, it's great to see you. Thank you for coming on.
There's a better setting on here.
So why is 4th of July one of the busiest days for the Burn Center at Bridgeport Hospital?
I think it's a lot of things
There you
happening all
go.
at once.
Change the
Not
setting
just
on it. It
it's
looked all
a time
blurry.
of celebration and friends and families coming together, but also coming together outdoors and doing fun things like grilling or having bonfires or using fireworks. So there are a lot of opportunities, unfortunately, for burning to occur.
Let's go through some safety tips here. You mentioned a lot of people will be barbecuing for the holiday. What should we keep in mind when it comes to grilling?
A lot of different things, not least of which is having sort of a zone of safety. Definitely make sure that the grill is 10 feet away from your house, and keep small children and pets about 3 feet away from the grill, just to make sure they don't get hurt. Make sure the grill's in a well-ventilated spot. Especially gas grills, if you're going to turn it on, make sure that the top is open so it's not collecting gas in there. And if you're using a charcoal or wood grill, just use the charcoal fire starter. Don't use gasoline or any other flame producing agents.
That's a good point. What about the dangers of fireworks? I know I'm already hearing them in my neighborhood early on before the holiday. What's the safety tips about those?
The safety tips for fireworks, and they're so fun, right? But they're also dangerous. They are basically explosives. So don't hold them in your hand. Don't let children handle them. Supervise holding very closely. Sparklers in particular can burn really hot. They can burn up to 2,000 degrees, and these can cause burns. If there's a dud, don't try to relight it. Just let it go. Again, don't hold it in your hand. Faces and hands are the things that we see most often injured with fireworks. And another thing to point out is fireworks are a big cause of forest fires. I know we don't really talk about wildfires in Connecticut, but I think that with this dry weather that we have had over the past couple of years, wildfires are an increasing concern. So just be careful with them from that standpoint.
We're also expecting really beautiful weather for the holiday weekend. What should people remember about sun safety?
Sun safety, avoid the sun. I hate to say it, between 10 and 2, that's when it's the strongest. Older people and children are very sensitive to sun, so make sure they're covered up, SPF 30 and above, or some type of clothing, and really just make sure everybody stays hydrated. Another thing we don't talk about is eyewear. Make sure you're wearing a hat, but also make sure you're wearing sunglasses.
Good advice. Dr. Elisa Savedimal, I really appreciate your time. Director of the Connecticut Burn Center at Bridgeport Hospital. Have a safe
Yeah, just say have a safe 4th of July, and try not to burn your money, because that's what 4th of July is like. I mean, it's nice, it's, you know, see fireworks and you burn your fireworks, but you know, fireworks in reality is made in China. It's not really in the U.S. Some are in the U.S., but those I would say yes, support if they're made in the U.S. Yeah, go for it. But if they're Chinese made fireworks, like, don't burn your money, and it's not really, you could do better stuff with your money. That's what my father used to tell me. He's like, you could have something that's actually a lot better, that'll last you a lot longer with the amount of money you spend on fireworks. And I took that to heart, and I have not bought any fireworks. I don't buy fireworks. Like, I'll get incense. I love incense. I got a lot of incense. Yeah, I got like a whole, like, in the other room I have like cases of Nong Champa, like literally the big, huge boxes of Nong Champa. I have like a whole bunch of cases back there. I mean, if I'll maybe tomorrow's show, I'll show like my Nong Champa or something. Oh, it wants to zoom in on me for some reason. Anyhow, continue to have a good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. I'll catch you on the flip side. And yes, I will be on tomorrow to capture Alligator Alcatraz first visit by President Trump to inaugurate the facility and to open the facility for the illegal migrants that they're going to be passing through and processing, and sending them off to their countries of origin. So that'll be a very interesting show tomorrow. So with that said, peace, everyone.